aspect of the mind and a healthy aspect of the mind. Unhealthy, impure mind is the one which is carrying the load of desires. And what is desire? Desire is not a laddu. Desire is expression of personal likes and dislikes. And these personal likes and dislikes have no reason, no logic, no meaning. And we think ourselves to be very wise. In fact, we are otherwise. Once we discover this principle, how the mind is functioning, thereafter controlling the mind is a snap. It doesn't take any time. It is as simple as to remove the reflection from the mirror. What do you have to do? Remove the mirror. In the same manner, to remove the problems of the mind is to transcend the mind. And to transcend the mind, you know how to work with the mind. Although we are working by the mind, but on the mind. Something like in the pole vault jump. We can't go very high up ourselves, so we take the help of that pole, come running, fix it in the ground, go up there. After going up there, we don't hold on to that. We say, come on, throw it away and go beyond. In this manner, the mind is used so that we can transcend the mind. And this can happen only if we have understood the clear functioning of the mind. So the mind is of two types, Shuddha and Ashuddha. Ashuddha mind is the one which is carrying the load of desires and sankalpa. And Shuddha mind is the one which is free from these anomalies. What is this will be known further in tomorrow's talk. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stushtuvan Sastanobhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Manohi dvividham proktam shuddham cha shuddhameva cha ashuddham kama sankalpam shuddham kama vivarjitam. Mind is classified in two groups. One is Shuddha, pure, other is impure. Now what is the meaning of impure mind? Ashuddham Kama Sankalpam. Yesterday we have seen something about Kama or the desire. How the desires are born. We have seen obsessions in the form of likes and dislikes. When they express, they are called as desires. I like this, it should be like this. This obsession is called as desire, number one. Second thing, what is the genesis of desire? See, how the desires are born. So there are three factors which create the desires, and that leads to activity, and that leads to frustration, and then that leads to satsanga. See how true it is. So, a sense of incompleteness. When I imagine that I am this body only, nothing beyond this. So if I am this body is incomplete. How this body is incomplete? Unless I have a big house, it is very difficult to stay in a small house. Whole life spent in a government small quarter. Now in the old age, when it is time to leave, then one start thinking of constructing a new house. After all, apna bangla hona chahiye. For what? There is nobody to live in. See? This sense of incompleteness has no logic, no meaning, no reason. And it differs from person to person. It is not the same. It differs. So, this sense of incompleteness creates an uneasiness. First step. Second step, we want only that which is other than the self. See? Like, my recording machine. Now it is already mine. I cannot have desire for this object because it is already mine. I will have desire for our Ajay's camera. Oh, that's a good camera. Not mine. I think I should think about it. See? So we have desires always, first when there is a sense of incompleteness, second when we recognize something as other than the self. See? When these two things happen, then the third thing comes in. The third thing is, why do I want that particular object? Because, again, few factors. Number one, because that object will give me completeness, one imagination. See? Otherwise, why a healthy, young, smart, intelligent, productive, creative man should think of getting married? He has a sense of incompleteness. What a life without a wife. When this virus enters, then it starts getting activated. See? This is HIV, highly infectious virus. So, this imagination, that particular object, will give me completeness. First. Second thing, that object is a source of happiness. Now you tell me, who gets married to a girl imagining that she will be a source of misery? Nobody. See? Then why the man gets married to the girl or girl gets married to the man? Only with this hope that she will be the source of happiness, joy. So, incompleteness will be completed by possession of the object because that object is the source of happiness. This is all projected, imagined. It has no meaning. It is a virtual reality. And then the third thing, if I don't get that object, what is there to live for? Marna hi acha hai. See? There is a friend of mine in Australia, very jovial, very happy. He is from South India and his wife is from North India. Both of them extremely intelligent and they met in some university in either Canada or USA at their PG, postgraduate level. So they like each other, decided to get married. So the boy's mother said, if you get married to that girl, you will have to cross my dead body. The boy is full of joy and humor. He said, Mom, then I will become too old. So I'll have to wait till you die. This is too much. See? So these are the imaginations. These imaginations are called as sankalpa, kalpana, sankalpa samyakatva kalpana. See? Perception, if it stops there, no samsara is born. But when the perception is followed by projection, the samsara begins. Our mind has two components in the function. One functional component is that the mind perceives the objects. See? Like your ears are open and I am talking. So the object for you is the sound or the words. But unless the mind is behind your ears, you will not hear me. So perception is by the mind. So first step, mind perceives the objects. There the mind doesn't stop. Thereafter the mind starts projecting. And the projection is this Satya Buddhi, Sukha Buddhi. We imagine that object is real, that object is the source of happiness. Then if I don't get that object, what is there to live for? This sankalpana is the cause of all the miseries in life. See? So, ashuddham kama sankalpam. So, desires are obsessions born out of likes and dislikes. Yesterday we have seen. And likes and dislikes have no reason, no logic, no meaning. And yet we are, honoring and respecting our own likes and dislikes. As if the whole life is meant for fulfilling our likes and dislikes. And see the funny thing. These likes and dislikes, they also keep on changing. They are also not stable. See? Balastavat krida saktaha. And then one becomes a teenager. Then tarunastavat taruni raktaha. The items of play, games change. See? And then vruddhastavat chinta saktaha. See? I don't know what is going to happen to this world. If you don't know, enjoy life. If you know, prepare yourself. What is there to worry about? See, therefore, these likes and dislikes are creating havoc in our life. So how to get out of this? One simple technique I will tell you. Give yourself a zero choice. Live at a zero choice level. See, other people's husbands are so nice and look at this mind. No. This is the fit for us. See, therefore they say marriages are fixed in the heaven, so also the lightning and thundering. Both lightning and thunder is also manifested in the heavens only. Therefore, ashuddham kama sankalpam. Now, imagine this way. See, if you take now see this rubber band with which this is hanging, from a distance it is absolutely steady, is it not? It is not moving. But in fact, this rubber band is constantly exposed to tension. Is it not? If I lift it little bit, immediately the tension disappears and the original thing comes up. Therefore, when we tighten a rubber band and leave from one side, it doesn't remain there, it comes back. Because it wants to come back to its original status. Be very attentive. Exactly the same way. Whenever we entertain any object with value importance in our mind, that creates a tension in the mind. When we fulfill the desire, what we do is we remove the desire. Fulfillment of the desire is the removal of the desire. And when the desire is fulfilled and thus removed temporarily, what happens? Like the rubber band, when that desire element is removed, the mind comes back to its natural condition. But then there is a second desire standing in a queue. It is such a rainy day. I wish there's a nice cup of tea, so nice. Okay, I'll get for you. You have nothing to do all the time, eat, sleep. So that poor wife, she gets a cup of tea. Thank you, darling. I think God has done the best thing for me is, I got married to you. But tea without pakoda? Second desire. I knew that you are going to ask, therefore I already made it. Pakoda comes. Chutney ka kya hua? Third. There is no end to the number of desires to be entertained and fulfilled. What is the net result? Mind is constantly tension, desire fulfilled, collapse. Another desire, tension, desire fulfilled, collapse. Third desire, tension, again fulfilled, collapse. Thus, our mind is constantly activated, relaxed, and as a result, it gets tired. And when the mind gets tired, then the mind wants to give up the source of the desires. What is the source of the desire? The sense of incompleteness. Incompleteness because of what? Because of body identification. So what the mind does, gives up the body identification, and then in the satsang we come and we give up body identification. And it begins. Therefore many people say, Swamiji, your satsang is so joyful because they can sleep comfortably. In Bombay, it happened, one person sitting next to each other, and right in front of my nose, he slept on the shoulder of the next fellow. Now this fellow who was awake was angry, so to wake him up, what he did, he moved like this, so that, he will fall and get up. But he was, descendant of Kumbhakarna. So what he did, he put his hand around him like pulling a pillow. And from here, what Vishwarupa sees, you cannot see from there. And after that lecture was over, he got up and, Swamiji, your lecture was really good. I said, oh, thank you very much. Very few people appreciate it. So he went. And then this person who was a pillow, he became, Swamiji, why didn't you tell this fellow to wake up when he was sleeping? I said, don't get excited, be cool first of all. Tell me what for you have come here? Happiness or misery? Of course I have come for happiness. Did you get? He got it. When we get tired of the body identification, we go to sleep. And again after some time, we come back to the same position, the body notion, sense of incompleteness, others, objects, obsession, desires, imagination, projection, and this is going on and on and on and on. There is no end to it. See, friends. Therefore, ashuddham kama sankalpam. If this is understood, then what will be the purification of the mind? See? Purification of the mind will be shuddham kama vivarjitam. If we do not have any desire, then there is no possibility of any sin. And when the desire can be zero, only when we recognize our infinite conscious blissful self, that this is our identity, then only there can be zero desires. In Amrut-Bindu Upanishad, one mantra comes. Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmiti purushaha kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anushanjvaret. In Panchadashi, chapter 7, Trupti Deep, this one mantra is elaborated in 297 verses. Exhaustive explanation. There, the steps through which every one of us has to go is, first, we do not know anything. We are Dumbo number one. Because of this ignorance, we don't recognize our own completeness and divinity. Avaran. Because of that vikshepa, we start projecting, imagining. And when we get disgusted, frustrated because of this, then we come to satsanga, we get paroksha jnanam, indirect knowledge. And when we practice this knowledge in one's own life, then we get aparokshanubhuti. We come to recognize what is said in the scriptures as our own being. And when this happens, dukkha nivrutti, all the miseries disappear. Why do so much then? Why not to go to sleep? Dukkha nivrutti. This is the sixth. Seventh is, the ultimate is nirankusha trupti. Nirankusha trupti is effortless, blissful being. These are the stages which will lead to Shuddham Kama Vivarjitam. Therefore, what will be the spiritual practice? Spiritual practice will be removal of the desires and not fulfillment of the desires. Now, what is spirituality for us? We go to the exams have come, Hanumanji is, working overtime. Everyone will go take one nariyal, hit on his head. This is a threatening before examination. After that, be careful. Therefore, Hanumanji is with a gada in the hand, in case. See, therefore, when we think of spiritual life, please understand, spirituality is not fulfilling our desires. See, and most of the people engage in upasana. For them, spirituality is only this. There was one boy, he was walking with me after I finished dinner in his house. He came to drop me to the taxi stand. Because his mother told me specifically, Swamiji, you alone come, don't bring any kamandalu with you. I said, all right. Because wherever I go, there is always one or two kamandalus. Don't bring any kamandalu. I said, all right. After finishing food and all that, the son says, Swamiji, can I drop you to the taxi stand? I said, yes, drop me. So I was going. He said, you are spiritual, my mom is spiritual. I said, very good, you are lucky. What lucky? I am fed up of her. Then why, what happened? I am the only son. Then Suppose I tell I am coming back by 7:30. And suppose it becomes 7:45. She will sit before the God and put the God's idol in the water and start doing japa. If he comes in 15 minutes, then I will do one parayan, observe fast for 3 days. If he comes in 20 minutes, one additional parayan. And I am always under tension. If I don't reach on time, mom will be suffering. Then I am not allowed to ride a motorcycle. Suppose something happens. So I am not allowed to ride a motorcycle. I am not allowed to be late, 1 minute late. And my life is such a terrible torture because of this so-called spirituality. See how true it is. Upasana, devotion, should invoke self-confidence, not self-weakness. Why the weakness comes? Only because we are constantly desiring this should happen, that should happen. So the God becomes the means and the worldly desire becomes the goal of our life. This is the error in our spiritual practice. See, friends, that is why all our gods are having a smiling face. So when we go, the God is smiling. Why? I know why he has come. He doesn't want me. He clearly tells, God, do this job and get out. See, friends, kama sankalpa varjitam. Therefore, wherever there is a desire-fulfilling mall, there will be a huge crowd. And where we are told, rise above the desires. This Mahatma ko kuch aata nahi na, therefore. Aha. Upanishad says, sa devanam pashuhu. Deva means sense organs. When our desires are fulfilled, we become the slaves of the worldly objects. We are leading a life of slavery because we are so much obsessed by fulfilling the desires. Therefore, Shuddham Kama Vivarjitam. One has to very clearly understand spiritual practice means, number one, freedom from desires. If you study Kathopanishad, at the end, the Upanishad says, Yada sarve pramuchante kama yasya vridishritaha atha martyaha amruto bhavati atra brahma samashnute. When one has reached a level of desire-free existence, he has already merged in the absolute reality. Na tasya prana utkramanti. He doesn't leave the body to enter another body. He is dissolved like the ice cube gets dissolved in the waters. See, friends, therefore, all the spiritual practice is getting freedom from the desires. Now the second step. Desires happen only when we are identified with our gross body. Unless we get freedom from the identification with the gross body, we have not worked on spiritual path even one step. As long as we consider ourselves to be a body, we will be only talking of the differences and differentiations. And thereafter, the forest of desires will be inaugurated in our life. So whole life is what? If we are to write our autobiography, what we will write in one line? We have been fulfilling desires in our life till date. Childhood, I want this game, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want that thing. Then we come to the, teenage. The teenage, everybody is fool. They don't understand anything, They think I am still a baby, but now I am a grown-up. I am fool of the highest order. See? Talk to teenagers. They are snobbish always. They will never, earlier the same boy or a girl, all the time, mummy, mummy, daddy, daddy. Now, daddy, you don't have to hug me, okay? Keep away. Earlier the same boy or the girl will go and hug and cuddle in the dad's lap, But now, teenager. See? And then start running after the girl or the boy. And ultimately become old. अब एक ही इच्छा है my son should now marry to the girl whom I say. And now the son say, I don't want to get married. I want to be all by myself. I'll follow spiritual path. No, that is not good. You should get married. Why? You know why the old people want their children to get married? Only for one reason. To take revenge. Because they have tortured them sufficiently. Now let this fellow get married and then we will see how he is happy. And if he happens to be happy also thereafter, then they will start praying, Beta, planning mat karo, let there be children. So when the first experiment failed, that in spite of getting married he is happy, okay, next time. And when the child is born, and when the child starts giving trouble, then the grandparents spoil the grandchildren only for prompting them, or taklif do, give more and more trouble. This is the only way they can take revenge. See, friends, there is no end to our desires. Why we do this? Because of the wrong equation, which we have honored as right. Wrong equation is fulfillment of desires is equal to fulfillment in life. It is a wrong equation. Fulfillment of desires is not equal to fulfillment in life. See, friends. Then rising above the desires. When we rise above the desires, then only there is a fulfillment in life. And we can rise above the desires only under one condition. When we come to discover that we are infinite conscious blissful reality, then only there cannot be any desire. See, friends. Now see our experience in the deep sleep. There we are nobody, not identified with the body. There is no sense of otherness, and therefore there are no desires, therefore no thoughts, no worries, and therefore all bliss. That is why the deep sleep is called as sound sleep. See? It is such a sound sleep that it produces sound for the world. And he is at peace. See, friends. Therefore, Shuddham Kama Vivarjitam. All the spiritual practice, therefore, is freedom from the desires, and this can happen only when we start functioning through the body and no more live as the body. We are all living as the body, by the body, for the body, on everybody. The whole life is spent only for this. See, friends. Now, to conclude, what will be the spiritual practice? First step, freedom from body identification. So, karma talks about the same, yoga talks about the same, devotion talks about the same, and knowledge also talks about the same. See, friends. Therefore, Ashuddham Kama Sankalpam, Shuddham Kama Vivarjitam. After having given this introduction to this is the foundation of the whole Upanishad. Then, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaya vishaya saktam muktam nirvishayam smrutam. Once there was a Lions Club meeting in Bombay, and in Rotary Club, there are no human beings. Mr. So-and-so, he is the ex-president, he is the past future president, and he is the governor, and he is the commissioner. So when they are introducing, I said, is there any human being? So also in case of the Lion Clubs, I had gone and yet survived. All lions sitting around, no. So in that Lions Club, and the funniest part is, many of them even do not know the difference between lion and lion. And they say, oh, he is Mr. Lion. Lion is something different than lion. See? So they were introducing me, and after he introduced, I asked him, I said, hey, you said in your introduction, Swamiji taught me Gita, and it is said in Gita, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Which Gita you are referring to? First, and I had never taught you Bhagavad Gita. Swamiji, aapko samajhta nahi hai, कहना पड़ता है. Wow. Then how can I introduce you? And I said, this verse doesn't come in Bhagavad Gita. Really? I thought all the shlokas come only in Bhagavad Gita. Look here. Where it comes, I said, it comes in Yoga Vasishta, it comes in this Upanishad, Amrut-Bindu Upanishad, it also comes in other Upanishad. Oh, so there are Upanishads also. What is Upanishad? I said, खाने के लिए क्या बनाया है? You know, if you want to be happy in this world, learn the technique of changing the topic instantaneously. Then you don't have to reply. So, mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind is the cause for bondage and liberation. So simple. When the mind becomes the cause for bondage, bandhaya vishaya saktam.